Is backwards compatibility on current gen consoles really necessary? In general, who is really asking for this option? Is it the hardcore or casual gamer? And what do collectors of old systems and games gain from backwards compatibility? A lot of questions in there, Dio, but we'll get you, man. Here's the thing. The first part is backwards compatibility on current gen consoles necessary? Yes, because there's no fucking games. Of course, yes, it is. There's nothing to play right now.
This is the best example. Imagine like when we back in the day when we were able to go to a Blockbuster or something. You talk to your buddies like, "Oh, you should see this movie from 1989. It's called The Burbs." And this, "Oh yeah, all right, let's go see it." Well, that's great. You could do that in those places. Well, that's what we need for games as well. The fact that we can play these old instead of just saying, well, you need to go get that old console and then you have to go and get the game and do all this. If it's all up there, just so we want to grab it when we want to grab it from whatever time period, it should be. It should be no issue, especially if it's digital. There should be no reason not to have that. That way, if somebody, let's say we're talking about this, like with Grand Theft Auto or the Red Dead Revolver, let's say 2 more consoles down the road. Oh, damn, there was Revolver. I don't even know the Redemption series. Well, just go on. It's there, and then you can play that. Oh, okay, cool. So, yeah, why not?
There's a lot of hurdles, but we're not going to get into that right now. But yeah, for these consoles, yes, it's necessary because there's no new games right now. Very necessary. But it does bring us up to the larger thing, like who is backwards compatibility for? And I guess that goes more to what Adam's saying. It's for people who there's 2 types of people, and you guys could fill in if I'm missing any. Main types of people that backwards compatibility is for like the Johnny come lately gamers. They don't play games on day one. They missed a bunch of stuff, or people who are just simply too young to experience them. And they get to check out these games. So I think that's who it's for. I think backwards compatibility is a good thing to have overall, but as we said before, as a console ages, it kind of becomes less relevant because there's new games to actually play, but for people who do want like a history lesson or just games they missed, backwards compatibility is a good thing because, that's one of the things about gaming in general. The gaming industry, we do a terrible job of game conservation, but that's also because of hardware. It's like they made, every game had their own engines they ran on. So you're trying to get these old engines running on new games. They got to do all this stuff, and then licensing comes into it. It's a bunch of shit. So it's not just a simple matter of like put it on this console. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. Even just beyond the technical stuff, there's just a lot of shit. So that's why you can't just have like, I'm gonna just play Pong on my PlayStation 5. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of shit that goes into that. But yeah, what about the rest of you guys? What do you say?
I definitely.
Brett, you first, and then Manny.
Go over,
Brett.
I think
that's like 20% of the people who care. I think the other 80% are fanboys who will never actually use it.
I'm gonna have to agree with that. That's right. Oh man, Manny, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, I was actually going to echo the same thing. I think a lot of it is there's definitely people that are generally interested in it, but yeah, I think it's a bunch of. I think some of it is also fanboys being angry that they don't have it. It's not that they really wanted it; it's just that it's not there.
Or chest thumping that they do have it.
Yes,
So yeah, there's definitely a degree of that.
And here's the thing: there's something there is that there is that like I remember, from being in the generations of consoles when you didn't get that, and then finally being able to get that and being like, oh shit, look at this. But then again, did I go back? I mean, you're one of the ones that sort of experienced it the most when you went from PlayStation, you went, because you skipped essentially to PlayStation 2. Yeah. So you went back and played all the previous games.
Yeah, not all of them, but I played some. But yeah, in PS2, it was the first Sony console to have backwards compatibility, which is cool. That was a feature of PS3 had it too. PS4 was the first one that didn't have backwards compatibility. But the first console, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that I know of that had backwards compatibility was the Sega Genesis with the Master System. You needed some fucking shit to play, but I believe that was the first one that had backwards compatibility. Super Nintendo did not,
Yeah.
But yeah, again, for this generation, it is necessary. There's no games right now. What are we playing? We're playing fucking Monster Hunter and Division before that because there's nothing new out.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then what about collectors? I don't think they have any worth. Like backwards compatibility is worthless. Systems like they have the system, they have the actual original systems at home playing on CRT TVs. You know,
I think it's
like
great
Metal
for
Jesus.
preservation.
He doesn't need that shit. You know.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a part of preservation, but all those guys those collectors that do like Metal Jesus and the Digital Foundry guy, and those guys are probably going to look to be playing those games on the actual consoles, because they're always going to be nitpicky about, whoa, the latency is different on this thing and it's better on the CRT. They're gonna be nitpicky about whatever the port is going to be like.